Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Well, I know there's no surprise that I don't really have anything to say about where the parents are, how they're doing. Miracle's doing well in her placement as always. And Miss Vanna, any chance anybody's been served yet?
Judge, they're being served by publication. Miss Kristen Smith, aka Jasmine Johnson, along with Mr. Paul Trevino. Let me see on the service. It looks like the posting on the internet website for service through the OCA has been complete. Oh, I see some other ones here. And it looks like they have both been served by publication on 10/8 of 2024.
10/8/24. And did y'all serve? What about all those Jerry Garcia, Joey Garza, and Paul Trevino? What about all them, Miss Vanna?
We did Paul Trevino. The other alleged fathers, they're not entitled to citation. They do have a court-appointed attorney. However, the department's confident that Mr. Paul Trevino is the biological father, and so we did serve him by publication. I think if the department is setting up with the OAG the siblingship testing to determine if the siblings are full siblings. And if it turns out they are, we do intend to adjudicate Mr. Paul Trevino as the father, not adjudicate Miss Jasmine Johnson, and adjudicate Miss Kristen Smith as the mother of the child. And then we would non-suit the others. So we're just waiting for those DNA results before we move forward with all these alleged and unknowns, Judge.
Okay, and we'll get an attorney registry check too, which I'm sure people really signed up on this child. So yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Anything else, Miss Vanna?
Judge, we're just asking that the court make the service plans in order of the court today. And hopefully, I don't know, I will check with Miss De La Cruz. Have you to see if she's had any contact with mother recently? Miss De La Cruz, have you had any contact with the mother or father or alleged father Paul Trevino recently?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What attempts have you made to get in touch with them or meet with them?
I've tried calling and texting. Let me see if the number I have for her that she was responding to is the messages aren't going through at this point. So I haven't had any contact with her.
Okay. And have you had contact with the lady who she suggested the placement of the children, Miss Eloise Garza?
I have. She said she is not blood relative. She's, not related to her at all, but Kristen likes to call her aunt. But she, after we hung up, I just asked her if she would be willing to be support for Kristen, the baby, whoever. And she said yes. But then after we hung up, she sent me a text message saying that she has a niece that can't have children and would like a baby. And if she could be considered as placement. So that's really the only contact I've had with her.
Okay. Was Miss Garza did she tell you where Kristen or Paul are located?
No, she did not. She says she's in contact with them, and when she does see them, they're together, but she couldn't give me an address or a way to contact them.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions, Ms. De La Cruz? No? Okay. Next witness, Ms. Vann.
No further witnesses, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Dowdle, you need anything?
She's muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm trying to use my phone outside the courtroom. Just a client. That's all I need.
Yeah. Good luck there. Okay. Ms. Potts, you need a bunch of clients, huh?
Yes, Your Honor. When I first saw that order, I thought, what is she thinking? But then it got explained to me. So, but I did want to say that I had a brief contact in the beginning with Paul Trevino through the Eloise Johnson number, but haven't been able to have contact with him since then. I think what he asked, and it was just a text message, a brief one, but he asked that Eloise Garza be placement, the aunt. But then I wasn't able to confirm that, and I didn't get any other responses back, and I haven't been able to reach him.
Yes, these situations are really sad. So thank you. Miss Calvert, were you on these cases before? I didn't think so. No.
You're muted.
Just getting a hand. Let's see, the host. You unmuted me. Oh, there. Okay. No, I came into it in September 23rd is when I began this case. And I have had text contact with Kristen on October 1st. She asked me why I was contacting her, and I was explaining that if she's in the Burnett area, I have community resource numbers for her, and she said she's not, and she's not in the area. So
Right.
that's the last contact I've had with her.
Okay. Thank you. Well, from your report, sounds like Miracle's doing well and everything's good there. This case ought to be easier than your last one. That ended up okay, but that was kind of crazy for a while. Miss McClure, everything good with
Yes,
these
ma'am.
kiddos?
Everything's
This one kid and the others, siblings?
Yes, everything's good. I got to hold that baby for a long time when I came to visit, and she is a sweetheart. Just very, 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 very sweet. She's getting chunky, and those boys love her. I get pictures. I'll have to send you some of the most recent pictures, but those boys are loving her. They are loving having her there.
Good. Last ones you sent were cute. She had cute little outfits on. Cute, cute.
She's got
Okay.
a better closet than I've got.
She what?
She's got a better closet than I've got.
Wow. And she's, let's see, 3 months old, 3.5 months old. Wow. Crazy, crazy. Okay, everybody get their pens out. I got the scheduling order dates for y'all. First term 2-4, second term 5-6. Final is 8-5. Dismissal is 9-15. I'm going to approve the service plan and make an order of the court, and that's all the orders I have today. I already have no visits till 3. Clean you. I better put that in here.
Judge,
Oh,
the
no
past-
visits till further
no
court order.
visits until further court order.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay. We'll see, or we won't see, as the case might be. So, thank y'all. Good
Yes.
news. Bye. Excuse. Okay, let's see, it's our first permanency hearing. I don't know why the kids were moved. I think that was in September. So not that I was real keen on the last placement after some of the stuff I heard at maybe the last hearing or another hearing, but so I need to know what happened, why the children were moved. Mom's doing well with Miss Paula. I saw her at their style show. She looked good. Style show's the bomb. If anybody ever wants to go in the future, we had a really good time and really good food and cute clothes. Dad, the children are in Fort Bend County now, and did he move to Fort Bend County? Is he still in Brownwood? Lots going on that I just didn't know about, but it sounds like both parents are working on their service plan and doing good, and the children are just having some time adapting and, all that kind of stuff. Elijah being autistic and having some issues there, it just makes it harder. So, Miss Vanna, what's going on?
Thank you, Judge. Yes, the parents, mom's doing good. I would say, according to the department, the dad is doing pretty good. He has he's missed a few drug tests, like that. He did take a hair strand test that was negative, though, closer to the beginning. So that was definitely a good thing. And hopefully he gets back on the color schedule. I don't see him here today. But from all the reports that we've ever received, it sounds like, those kids love visits with their dad. The children are going to have another Elijah's going to have another psychological, and I'm hoping that this time it's in person, because we have 2 different psychologicals for him. One says that he's autistic, and the most recent one says he's not. But the most recent psychological was done virtually, and it stated that all the information was gathered from the foster mom, and I just don't know how accurate that could be. So I believe that Ms. Martin has scheduled, or the foster placement has scheduled, another psychological that will be in person for Elijah, so we can finally get some answers on whether he's autistic or not and what he needs.
But hold on, Ms. Vanna. How do you do a psychological evaluation on a 2-year-old virtually that maybe has autism?
I have no idea, Judge, and that was my question. So they're scheduling one in person. I have no idea. I was very confused about a lot of things in that psychological. As it said that they didn't really talk to the child, but then said that he provided good answers and that all the answers were from I don't know, but I see Miss Ms. Potts has her hand up, so maybe she can explain.
Judge, I don't know for sure about the last one. I think that was confusing to us all. But the next assessment is with an autism specialist, as I understand it, with a place called Think Neurology for Kids.
Wait a minute, what's it called? Think Neurology?
Think, Think, Neurology.
Think Neurology. I have somebody that goes there.
Is so or is it good?
I'm not impressed, but but it's a cattle call, but what isn't these days, especially in the Houston area. I mean, they're not as easy to find as you would expect. They like meds, which I don't. So just put that in your inbox. And Ms. Potts, I know you don't like meds. I mean, it's not the worst place in the world. I'm just, I'm kind of picky though in that regard.
Well, let me ask this: do you have another one that you think might be good?
No, I don't. That's the problem. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't. There's not. I mean, and that's even in Houston or Richmond or Sugar Land or wherever. No, I've been there about 4 times.
Okay.
So I probably have had court from the parking lot there a couple of times, so no. The doctors change. I hate that, but it's probably the way the medicine is in the big town these days, and we're just not really used to that.
It's all corporate.
I mean, we got sent from Katy one time to Sugar Land, I mean, where do you go? I don't know.
Okay.
So my family just disregarded what they said, and they're doing their own thing, which I don't know if that's good or I don't know if it's bad, but that's what they're doing. But anyway, I mean, they do testing, they do that, they did that real well. The facilities, okay. It's easy to get to, you don't have to pay parking, I like that. The doctors, we've seen about 3, they were all okay, the nurses were good. It's just a big place,
It's a Yelp review from Judge Mabray.
A Yelp review.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, and maybe the key would be.
And we've had a Zoom visit too, and that was stupid, So, I mean, y'all know what I think about telemed with kids in the first place. And I think that, does he bounce around? Is he hyper? Is he busy all the time? He is.
Yes, he is busy. He has kind of developmental, maybe, I don't know what to call it, the way he moves. And he's very distracted, and he has behavior issues in daycare. He's got a lot going on. And I think that the challenge is he's so young. How do we determine what if that was related to the trauma from before, because he was found in some really difficult circumstances. So it's hard to know exactly what it is. It's just a real challenge.
Where does he go to daycare?
I don't recall the name of it. Maybe Miss Regina.
I don't remember the name either, but it is not one that specializes, and they are really struggling with him. He's slipping out of the fence and waking kids up during nap and stealing their food. They're struggling. When she goes to church, they're struggling. And I know on February 27th, he was evaluated by Dr. Molly Peterson. She said he had level 2 autism. And so I know placement's really hoping to get some extra help with him pretty soon.
Well, at least they're in a better place than we were in Brownwood or Comanche or wherever. So we're able to have a lot more services. I want y'all to be sure and tell the foster mom there's no Zoom visits. Everything needs to be in person, because they do like those Zoom visits in Houston. And we don't need to have an appointment every 6 months. We need to have them like bam, 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 and stay on the doctor's office about going to the appointment, setting up quick appointments.
Judge,
And
no Zoom visits, you meet with their providers.
Four of y'all are talking at one time, and I can't hear y'all all at one time on Zoom. What, Miss Vanna?
You said no Zoom visits. So do you just mean with like the doctors and things, or are they allowed to have Zoom visits with the parents still?
Oh, yeah, no, they can Zoom visit. I don't want any doctor, therapist. I don't want any of that on Zoom. No way.
Yes.
I mean, ideally, I would like for everybody to go to Texas Children's, but they're not, sometimes the wait list to get in there is incredible. And Think has a pretty short wait list, like y'all said. Shorter than Texas Children's, let me say that. So anyway, yeah, and maybe he just has autism. Maybe there's just no trauma. I mean, maybe that's just the way it is. I mean, as we know, there are lots of kids that don't have any trauma that have autism. So whatever. Okay, so Miss Vanna, tell me why we changed placements.
So there was a report made of abuse and neglect in the prior home, and then the ad litem's had a bunch of concerns. I think at one point we did have a hearing, then there was a meeting with the ad litem's, and I guess everyone decided to move them. So I would ask Ms. Potts or Ms. Baker, would you be able to tell us why the children were moved?
Did you want to tell her or me?
Sure, that's fine. I'm not gonna remember just offhand all of the details, but the father had been very aggressive both to Casa and myself, the foster father, after one visit with me and after one visit with Casa, which was a concern. But then the little girl reported that she was being spanked by the foster dad, and she said it left green marks on her butt. And so, and she also said that her little brother was spanked and it left green marks on him. I'm not an investigator. Green marks, meaning a bruise, green marks, yeah.
That's a good word, okay.
And so I'm not a investigator, but I tried to see if she would show me, and she didn't want to, so I wasn't going to go there. So I just called the hotline, and it was subsequently ruled out. But by the time they went to her, it was like 2 weeks later, so they weren't going to see any bruises or anything else. But I think the concern was that they weren't getting their ECI stuff done, their medical stuff done, the autism testing stuff done. They were in an area where there wasn't a lot of services. They're 23 years old. They're not married. They had another child in the home, which was very aggressive toward Elijah, which could have been where he learned some of this behavior. And both Casa and I saw the aggression towards him. And I think the other issue for us was there was not really financial stability in the home. They're very young. There was a lot of stuff going on. They were friends of dad. They didn't know the children at all from before. They had never even met them. So there were just, multiple issues from all directions. But I think the big issue was not just the outcry, and I had no reason not to believe it. I just had to call it in. But I think the other big issue was not getting the level of care that they needed, and the foster parents not having the skill set necessary to take care of a child, either with autism. And at that time, we just had the one psychological that showed that. So I think that was kind of the consensus of the team, as I understood it and as I recall it, just offhand.
Well, they don't need to be aggressive towards y'all either. That's kind of scary.
It was very scary to me. I've not had that happen from a foster parent ever, and it was over money because they were waiting on the child support from dad, and he wanted to know when it was coming and why it wasn't there. And so that was what caused that issue for me. I don't recall what caused it for Casa.
I did an unannounced visit because I wasn't real comfortable with my first visit. So I did an unannounced visit, and when he answered the door and saw me there, he was very, very, very irate because I didn't make an appointment to go see him.
That is so sad. Poor guy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't remember why I didn't like the placement. There was something about something that somebody testified to, maybe the last hearing or the hearing before, that I just wasn't real keen on. So now they're with other of dad's friends down in Fort Bend County? Is that, no, or is it foster?
They're in a foster home. They're in a foster home.
And Judge, I've been really happy with this foster home. They are on top so far. She's been on top of everything, answers the phone, reports everything, talks to us, seems to have the level of skill and care that the children need. And I think they're being taken very good care of.
Have they ever had any children that have autism with them before?
She works, or at least did. She might have changed her job because she moved, but she worked in the autism section of a particular daycare that had that specialty. I think when they moved, he may be in a different.
Daycare, should go to Head Start or pre-K.
Percy is in school, and I think
She's actually in daycare.
is it
but-
daycare?
She's scheduled to go into pre-K this week or next week, but she's struggling because I guess pre-K gets out so early. So she's trying to find somewhere to take her after they let out pre-K.
Right, and I think it's Morgan Elementary is where she's enrolled, and she needs some help with after-school care.
They in Fort Bend ISD or Lamar Consolidated?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Well, a lot of those daycares, they've had the vans, they pick them up, so maybe that would work. Okay. Well, that makes me feel better, and yeah, I don't mean to be Nancy negative about that place, but I just don't like cattle call doctor places. But that's just me. I don't like Scott and White that much either, because sometimes that's a cattle call, but that's all we got. So
Well, we'll keep a good eye on it and follow up. And I know Miss Martin is going to be sending us a lot of documents that that she's just recently gotten, and so we'll all pitch in and try to be sure everything's good.
Okay, I'm gonna put in the order: no Zoom, no telemed, doctor appointments. How's that? For behavioral issues. I mean, if it's just a cold, that's okay.
Judge, I think the first one was, I think the meeting was today, so I'm hoping it wasn't telemed. I don't know.
Well, I mean, too late now, but oh my God. Yeah, I hope not, since we had another one that was telemed and we're changing because we don't want to do telemed, So, okay. Ms. Vanna, what else?
I would ask, I'd like to call Miss Martin, ask her a few questions.
Okay, please.
Miss Martin, are the parents visiting the children?
The parents are visiting as much as they can. It's a very long distance. Mom is having issues with transportation, and dad was having issues with transportation also.
Have they driven down there to visit the children?
They have. They've both been down there since the kids have been moved.
Okay, and do the children enjoy visits with their parents?
They do.
Okay.
They're very happy.
We are currently at a permanency hearing. Can you tell me what the barriers to reunification at this time today are and what the parents need to work on?
So the barriers to reunification with mom are that she needs to keep working her services. She's been doing great. She's completed her IOP. She's she's in the Padres program. She's doing extra classes. She's attended all her sessions. She's drug testing on time. She's been accepted to college. So she just needs to complete her services in the programs, secure housing, maintain her job, maintain her sobriety, and show growth from the services.
Okay. And what about as to Mr. Christopher Boyd?
Mr. Boyd is working his services and is in contact with the department. However, there are concerns with the consistency of drug testing, testing on the proper color days. There's issues with him being late to visits. We have offered to change the visitation times so that they'll be a little bit later, so he won't be late. But he said he wants to keep the times as they are, and he'll just leave earlier from now on. There are issues with therapy, and we are looking for a new therapist in the area, and we have found two that look promising, but it's out of region. So I am working with the contracted agency to get with those two. And basically, we just need him to consistently test on his color days. We need him to continue participating in the therapy. We just need him to continue doing his services.
And the report stated that dad had not completed OSAR. Has he completed OSAR at this time?
Yes, yes. We found a place he has completed his OSAR and there are no recommendations.
Okay. No further questions. And is there anything that the department needs from the court today?
No, ma'am.
No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Martin?
Your Honor, I do.
Hold on, Ms. Stowell.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Martin, you mentioned that there were some issues with the drug testing. Were you aware that there were some issues when he went to the drug testing facility, that the paperwork wasn't there?
We are aware and we've taken that into consideration. We've also called the drug testing facility. I'm so sorry, the facility on his testing days, and they have stated that they did have his paperwork. So before he's even gone to test, we have called them and they stated they did have his paperwork. And then he went and checked he went 2 days later to test, saying that they didn't have his paperwork. So I'm not sure where the disconnect is, but he and I have talked, and he is going to now call me on his color days to verify that he's going up there, and I will verify, or somebody in the office will verify with the drug testing facility that they do have his paperwork before he goes.
Okay, now he did have one color and then y'all changed his color, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so was there some confusion with the days for testing with respect to the color changes?
No, ma'am. When he was changed from red to purple, his color date was purple on 10/9 for an example of one of them. He went and tested on blue on the 16th, and then another color day was October 18th, and he went and tested on yellow. So he wasn't testing on his old color, he was testing on other colors.
Okay. And do y'all have a concern that he's has a drug issue?
He's testing negative, so no, we do not have concerns with the drug issue.
Okay, so could he take a hair test now and sort of rule out any prior use, and we could just sort of change his drug testing to as requested, since there's no recommendation for OSAR and there's never been a drug concern for him?
We would like for him to take the alcohol testing. The paperwork had been sent in for the alcohol testing, but we don't know if we're not getting the results or if he hadn't been tested, but we did verify that the paperwork has been sent in, and I'm waiting for a phone call back from them. But we would like for him to go through drug testing, just to verify, I'm sorry, not drug testing, alcohol testing, just to verify that we can get that out of the way also, before we do any changing the test schedule.
Okay. So you think y'all have got it figured out about he's going to contact you when he thinks it's his day. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So have you had you said that, well, let me back up. Obviously, and I know the court's aware of this, he's out of region, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And his region is that community care-based stuff, right?
Yes.
So that's totally different than what the department normally deals with, right?
It is out of region, yes.
Okay. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult for y'all to get services. Is that correct?
It does. It takes a bit
Okay.
longer.
And so you said there was issues with therapy, but that wasn't due to his failure to attend therapy. It was just failure for the inability for the department to secure therapy. Is that right?
We did have issues procuring therapy, but we are having issues with contact with the therapist, getting the notes, finding out if he's gone, and so on.
But my question is it his failure to attend therapy that you're having problems with, or you're having problems with the therapist on y'all's end?
The therapist.
Okay. All right. So that's no fault of his.
No.
He's completed his OSAR. So the only thing, it sounds to me like he's still employed as he has been, correct?
Yes.
You don't have any drug issues, but you're concerned about alcohol, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He's attending therapy as you requested. He still has the same job, right?
Yes, he's at the same location. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the barriers to the kids being placed back with him and us phasing the kids into placement with him?
We would like to see him complete more of his services. We would like
Okay,
to
I'm going to
see,
stop you right there. When you say more of his services, what more besides the alcohol and continuing therapy? What else?
continuing the therapy and showing growth and progress from the therapy.
If you can get the therapist to communicate with you.
Yes, or we're
Okay.
going to have to move him to another, we're moving him to another therapist.
And this will be the third therapist, is that right?
This will be the second one that he will have seen, but it will be the third one that we have tried to get into.
Okay, all right. So continuing therapy and no alcohol, that what else? What else does he need to do to show you that he's ready to get these kids phased back with him?
We will need to do the, start doing the, unobserved visits, and then the monitored return.
Do you think he's
And then
ready for
wait for
unsupervised
that.
visit?
I think that he could be ready for the what they're called sandwich visits,
Mhm.
where we see him for a certain amount of time, and then a certain amount of time that he's with the kids by himself, and then a certain amount of time we observe again, and then grow time from there.
Okay, so you'd be willing to start that now, especially since he's having to drive so far to see the kids, now that they've been placed in Fort Bend County.
Yes, yeah, we can do the starts and sandwich visits.
So who observes the visits in Fort Bend County?
We have the agency that's out there that's helping. That's a contracted agency also. So
So
they're
are they also part of community-based care?
They are.
What's the name of that agency?
I will have to look that up. I don't have that right in front of me. I'll get that
Okay,
out to you.
could you provide that to me at your earliest convenience?
Yes, ma'am.
It might be Empower, but don't quote me on that. I think it's Empower.
Thank you. That would be
Empower.
that would be the same one that's handling the Brown County area.
No, that's to engage.
Oh, to engage. Okay, well, we've
They
got
are
different.
so it doesn't really matter, but don't get me started.
Okay, all right, I know, I agree with the court. All right, so we can start those sandwich visits so we can start making some progress. Would you be amenable to having the foster parent communicate, like when the doctor visits are? I mean, once we get the evaluations done, it seems as though perhaps the parents could participate in the visits by Zoom so that they could also be aware of what's going on with the kids and if when the kids come home, how they're going to need to deal with them.
Okay, so for them to participate in the doctor visits via Zoom
Mm-hmm.
while the kids are having visits? Is that
Well,
what you're saying? I'm so sorry. Yeah.
In other words, my understanding is we're getting them evaluated. They're having some y'all were concerned about the Elijah's behaviors and so on, and he was gonna be seen by the neurology that we discussed. So I'm talking about that kind of visit, not just because the child has a cold, but if there's issues with this child, it seems as though the parents need to be up to speed about it so that they can be prepared for when the kids come home, because it sounds to me like these kids are coming home ultimately, one way or the other.
Right, that's our goal. Yes, yes. But yeah, definitely they can participate in the doctor visit via Zoom.
So could you be responsible for helping get that set up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You know what? Hold on. I don't want to do that right now. I mean, I don't mind doing that, but I want to get this think place organized and see where we're at, and then start to do that.
I understand. I just would like something on the horizon so that we can phase these parents into this situation so that these kids can come home.
Yeah, I think the most important thing now is diagnosing Elijah and seeing what we can do to get him on the right track. And just too many people all at one time might be a big old cluster.
Okay, thank you, Judge. All right, so just to recap, make sure I understand, Ms. Martin, he needs to continue his therapy. Y'all are gonna work with getting the information from the therapist, and if you can't, you're gonna change his therapist again. He needs to continue to test, and test for alcohol, assuming that the paperwork's there and the facility will do it and they will comply. And you're gonna work with him to make sure. So what color is he on now?
We went back to red because he missed those days so that he can start testing weekly again.
Okay, so now we're back to red. And do you anticipate, how long does he have to be on red before you're gonna switch him back to purple?
I would say 3 weeks to a month.
Okay, and will you keep me posted when you switch him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Miss Dowdy, you cut out. Keep me posted about what?
When she changes his color from red.
Okay.
Okay. Now, also, and this may have been resolved, and I apologize, I'm outside the courtroom and I'm not in my office right now, but I know that he had some money orders that he needed to get to the placement, but he doesn't know who to make them out to or what to do. So has that been resolved, or do we need to address that?
We have the missing placement or the missing money order, and that was sent to placement. I'm not sure if they've gotten it yet or not. I haven't heard. The former placement, I'm sorry. So we do need to set up going to new placement.
And he's requested that information. So what do we do to get y'all the money orders, and who do we make it out to?
I can partner with you.
Okay, that'd be fine. If you'll let me know, he's got it ready to go. We just don't know where to send it.
Okay, I'll partner with you right after court.
Thank you.
Miss Dowdy, it's supposed to go to Miss Potts.
Your Honor, it does come to me. I have received one money order that I just got that I sent because I believe he had the incorrect address off of an old report. And as it relates to future money orders going forward, they do need to be sent to me. Miss Martin needs to get the exact spelling of the name of placement because it's a very long name, and it's we'll be sure we get that right so she can cash the money order.
Certainly, and that's the delay, Judge. We just don't know who to make these money orders out to, and we can't put a blank money order in the mail.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Judge, I had a question because the kids are now.
Wait, hold on. I don't think Miss Dowd's finished. Are you?
No, Judge, that's all I have now. I'll pass it.
Okay. Yes, Miss Vanna. Sorry.
Just because we're talking about child support, so the kids are now in a foster home, a paid foster home. So I would like to get clarification from the court regarding the child support for dad and where that money should go, if that should be paid or how the court wants to handle that.
I think we can lower it a little bit to help pay for like more items and stuff since they aren't a paid foster home.
Well, and Judge, I mean, if I may throw this in also, I mean, now they've got the added travel expense of driving to Fort Bend County, which is a lot different than, local.
Right. Right. I thought I read in one of these reports, do we still have back child support owed to the former placement?
Your Honor, I sent the last check to the former placement, so I think they're good. We just need to start paying it going forward. I think he owes about $1,000. Plus he'll have another payment coming up in November.
And of course, that's based on what the prior child support order.
That's
right. But you think that they were good for the other people? You think they're all paid in full?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that's all they were expecting.
Okay. And not that I'm losing a lot of sleep over them either, but I don't want somebody to have something else to complain about. Okay. Let's just say reduced to $200 per month beginning 11/1.
Thank you, Judge.
Mostly because of the traffic. I get it.
And that's beginning in November, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. Backdated a little.
Do you want him to pay the past due, or are you waiving that?
I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry about. Well, when the kids moved, they moved September 10th or something.
September 11th.
September 11th. Yeah, but we can reduce it to, if he's got a bunch of money he's holding, if I reduce it to, let's just reduce it to $200 per month beginning 9/1.
Thank
So
you,
yeah,
Judge.
200 for September, 200 for October, 200 here on out.
Thank you, Judge.
So if he has some money orders, he can just refund them or however you do money orders and pocket some of that.
Okay, thank you.
What else, Ms. Dowdle?
That's all I have right now, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Miss Vanna, I'm gonna let you ask your question before Miss Potts, okay?
Already did, Judge. It was regarding the child support, so we've taken care of that.
Okay, thank you. Miss Potts, you have questions, Miss Martin?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, go on.
So Miss Martin, I believe I need to clarify this therapy issue. Do we know whether or not Dad has gone to therapy?
We do not have proof, no.
Okay,
That's why we're waiting on the notes from the therapist.
okay. And then the next question that I had was, I believe he was supposed to complete protective parenting, nurturing parenting, family violence modules within therapy. So we don't know whether or not any of that has commenced. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the next question I had was, it is my understanding he has completed a psychological, and there were some recommendations for that psychological that were contained within your court report. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the recommendations, and I think I don't know what it's based on because I don't have the psychological. I know you're in the process of sending that to me. But one of the recommendations was that he complete a psychosexual evaluation for ongoing concerns for child sexual abuse. Are you going to set him up for that?
We can't schedule that, yes. Yes,
Judge,
we'll
I'm
find a
gonna
therapist
object
for
to
that.
I'm going to object to that. I don't see any validation for that. My understanding is the only reason the psychologist recommended that was based on the age of Marissa when they began their relationship. And I think that's extremely overreaching at this juncture. There's been no other allegations or no other concerns that have been raised to my knowledge.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know what the deal was.
Your Honor, if I might, I don't have a copy of the psychological. I don't believe anyone else does either. All I have are the recommendations. So I don't know if it was because he was 34 and she was 16 when they started having babies, or if there were some other allegations that were included, or maybe something else he said that was in the psychological. All I know is I have a recommendation for that. And if he's going to be around young children and it's recommending that, that I feel like we need to just go ahead and get that done and get it out of the way and clear up the issue for him.
Why don't y'all send us a psychological evaluation? We can talk about that later. I mean, as many times as the CBS has been involved with these people, I don't recall that being an issue in the past.
And I guess it's still misplaced.
And if it's just because of the age, I got it. That's messed up. Somebody should have done something about that a long time ago. But, that's water under the bridge at this point in time. We got way more important issues to deal with.
I would be happy to take a look at it. I'll take a look.
Yeah, and send it to me too. I want to see it.
Okay. So the next thing was, of course, for Mr. Boyd to participate in individual therapy, and including exploring substance abuse patterns, relapse prevention, learning coping skills, and so forth. Anger management, emotion regulation training, parenting. And I assume that when you set up that new therapy, that you are going to provide the psychological to the therapist and be sure that those modules are included in whatever that therapist does. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
He also said that Mr. Boyd should submit to random drug and alcohol testing so he can show a period of sobriety. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And complete a parenting class such as nurturing parenting and protective parenting. Do we know if he's completed those? I think they were in his service plan.
The protective parenting is or nurturing parenting has been rolled into his therapy also.
So we don't know if he's completed that or not.
No, ma'am.
They had a couple of other recommendations, but they also said domestic violence education. And I know he was supposed to do that in his individual therapy, but we don't know if that's been done. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
And is he attending AA or NA?
He has not sent me any information that he is.
Okay. So the next question I have is, I understand he was not being tested for alcohol, for ETG. And it is my understanding that the issue in this case for Mr. Boyd was alcohol. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So that has not been done?
The
Or
test,
it was done on, I think, maybe a couple of times, but not every time. Does that sound right?
correct. Yes,
Due
ma'am.
to that communication issue with the
I have,
facility?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I have an email and a phone call into them to find out if they did the testing and haven't sent us the results, or if they're saying they're not getting them, but they're being sent at the same time the drug testing are being sent. So I am partnering with them though, and we'll find out what happens, and I can update everybody on that too.
Okay. So when Mr. Boyd misses test, and I'm seeing there was one on 8/20, 9/20, 10/2, and 10/10, is he still getting his visits?
Yes, ma'am. He was.
Okay. So, all right. And I think that is everything we have. I just want to be sure that he's getting his services. And if he's not, that we're not going to unsupervised visits and sandwich visits and all of that until we have this cleared up and on track. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Ms. McClure?
Yes, Ms. Martin, you talked about being willing to give dad sandwich visits and all that kind of stuff. It sounds like mom is even more compliant with her service plan. So would she not also be entitled to all of those same things that dad is wanting?
I feel that both parents could do the sandwich visits.
Okay, so is there anything that mom hasn't done that she needs to do to demonstrate that she is currently clean and sober and that she's on the right path?
She's doing all her services, and she is she's on the right path. She's doing great.
So really, it sounds like housing is her biggest impediment to having a monitored return.
Housing, and she's in a I don't know how to put it, enclosed environment where she's always with someone else, and they're keeping her on track. So we would like to see her once she's on her own a bit to see she still stays on track. I don't know if that makes sense.
So the department then, if mom and Paula are able to work out next steps for her to be able to have more independence, that would be the next step, something else y'all would need to see so she could have a monitored return.
Yes, she does have to go to the next step. I know she's secured housing, so.
Okay. So you're good with everything that you're okay with dad having, you're okay with mom having too.
Yes. Yeah, the sandwich visits, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, Ms. Martin?
Yes, Your
I did
Honor.
have one follow-up whenever.
Okay, go on.
Ms. Martin, and I'm not to throw any stones, but in a CPS case, it's pretty normal for parents to have, I guess, a few hiccups along the way. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and so your concern has been that my client's tested on the wrong days, right?
That's a concern, yes.
Okay, and Ms. Potts went through a whole bunch of stuff that she thinks he hasn't done, but it really all boils down to the fact that it was all supposed to be done in therapy, and we've had difficulty getting therapists in therapy in that region, right?
Yes, and we haven't gotten the notes, yes.
And is this, am I recalling correctly, is this the case where mom temporarily left Open Door and went to live with some friends in San Saba?
I am not sure that she went to San Saba.
Okay, or maybe it was Mason, somewhere, Gulf Weight, something like that.
Again, I'm not sure exactly where she went.
She left for about 2 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't very long.
And then came back. Okay, I just was trying to clarify if I was remembering that correctly. Okay. Does anything that Ms. Potts mentioned change your opinion about my client having sandwich visits at this point?
Not with starting the sandwich visits, no.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Pass the witness.
Ms. Martin, I just want to clarify. So you haven't received any therapy notes from Mr. Boyd's therapist, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Have you had any verbal communication with the therapist?
I have spoken to her secretary, and they were going to get those notes to me.
Okay, but have you talked to the therapist at all during this case regarding his progress?
I spoke to her in the beginning of the case, that he's attending, but I have no written proof.
Okay, when did you speak to her? When did she tell you that?
I honestly do not have that in front of me. I can get that back to everybody though.
Was it yesterday?
No, I didn't speak to her yesterday. It was toward the beginning of the case, shortly after they were starting the visits or the therapy.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Okay, anybody else? Ms. Fannin, next witness.
Further witnesses, Judge.
Ms. McClure, any witnesses?
I'll just call my client for just a moment, Your Honor.
Okay, please. Go on.
Marissa, okay, great. So how do you feel you're doing, Marissa? Do you feel like you're on the right path?
I do. I feel like I've made a lot of progress toward improving myself so I can be better for my kids. And I have set up a lot of things in place for them to be able to come home as quickly as possible. And I think that everything is going really well.
And tell us about the housing. What are the plans for housing?
Can I pass that to Miss Paula? She has more information than I do on that.
Sure. Go ahead, Miss May.
Yes, we have our second interview with the Highland Lakes Crisis Network for her to be placed in one of the duplexes with a 3-bedroom.
Any idea if she gets approved, how long it would be before she could actually move in?
We'll know on the 13th. That's when we'll receive that information.
Okay. That's all I had, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. McClure. Anybody else have any questions, Ms. Reed?
Judge, I don't have any questions, but I wanted to thank Ms. Reed for reaching out to me and to CASA to let us know what she's doing and what she's working on. She wrote a really nice letter that outlined all of her services, and I think she's doing really very well and making good process. And I appreciate the opportunity to get to know her in the process.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Potts. Ms. Vidal, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Baker, anything you'd like to add that hadn't already been discussed or that wasn't in your report?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Potts?
No, Your Honor, other than the concern that we don't know if Dad has been sober and we don't know if he's completed any services at all, and then we're going to start some kind of unsupervised stuff. That just makes me nervous. That's all.
Well, I know that where he lives is always a problem because of, the community-based care. I got that. And I used to be in Brownwood. That was one of my counties. And I know service, even though it's pretty big populated town compared to what we have. Services are really limited up there. So, I mean, that doesn't excuse anything. Just means that the department has to work harder to find places that are available for him to go to.
He's about 20 minutes or so from Stephenville. He's not far from there. I think that was the town he was near, so we should be able to find something.
Well, Stephenville's way bigger and better, hopefully, than Brownwood. And I don't know, two engages in Brownwood. I don't know.
I don't know that he's close to Stephenville. I mean, he's working in Brownwood.
That's just what I was told. So I don't.
Where does he live?
Maybe Mr. Boyd could answer that.
I live in Comanche.
And my understanding, he was working at the Brookshires in Comanche, but because the manager was going to take the kids, he transferred to the Brookshires in Brownwood. Is that right, Christopher?
Yes, but I have recently transferred back to the Brookshires in Comanche.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm showing 40 minutes. $35 miles.
$27 minutes to Brownwood, 35 to Comanche. Probably, I mean, to Stephenville. Probably a lot better services in Stephenville than in Brownwood. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Stephenville's in Erath County. I don't know if they're in community-based care or not. It's kind of cut. I don't know. If they are, they might be in the group with Fort Worth, but I'm not hearing great stuff about them, but I don't hear good stuff about them anyway, so I can't really. They might be into Empower. I don't know. Miss Martin, where are services set up now? In Brownwood?
They're in Comanche.
Oh, all his services are in Comanche?
Oh, I'm sorry. The therapy, I believe, is in Comanche. The drug testing is in Brownwood. Is the early Hendricks urgent care or Hendricks
But
early
there's a
urgent care?
therapist in Comanche?
I believe so. Mr. Boyd, isn't she in Comanche?
Yes, ma'am. She is in Comanche.
Okay, well then we're not going to change anything right now. I mean, if he's doing his therapy but just remember, if there's anything else he needs to do, that you got a lot more options in Stephenville than you do in Brownwood.
I'm so sorry. I was not going to bring this up, but I need to bring it up now. In the very beginning of the case, Miss Vanna and I and Miss Martin and Casa met because the therapist, after 2 visits, had recommended a monitored return for Dad. The therapist told Miss Martin that it was all Mom's fault because Mom had another therapist in that same office at one time, and that this was not Dad's problem. And that therapist was communicating confidential information about.
I'm going to object to hearsay. I have none of this information. I don't think any.
I'm just saying it's a conflict of interest. We all agreed it was a conflict of interest. We requested a new therapist. It didn't happen. And so I have issues with that therapist, not only because they're not communicating at all with Miss Martin, but because of that conflict of interest from the beginning.
Well, if there's I don't know about the not communicating. I don't know about that, but if there's a conflict, there's obviously a conflict.
Yes.
We all agreed it was a very clear conflict, Your Honor.
Okay.
Which is obviously news to me. So
yeah, why don't y'all talk about that, and lawyers send an email, y'all visit about that off screen and see what y'all can determine and go from there. Because yeah, I mean, I'm we all know we don't like conflicts. We don't want to get turned into our whatever judicial conduct or the state bar, and I would think that their licensing agency wouldn't want to get turned into them too. So somebody needs to figure out why they even agreed to take it, Mr. Boyd, if that's just weird to me. So, okay, we all figure that out. If not, then we go to Stephenville. Or we can go to Brownwood if we can pee and go to the counselor at the same time, but that's kind of not going to happen because of the alcohol testing is going to be random. So our next hearing is 121. The orders today are no telemed doctor appointments for behavioral issues. Dad's child support reduced to $200 per month beginning 9/1. 24, continue to be payable in response to placement to the new placement in Fort Bend County. Visits for mom and dad increased per CPS and items. Children's doctor reports circulated to all parties and also include parent psychological evaluation and therapist reports. That's to be done on a monthly basis by the department. Parents shall have service plans. You have to comply or your parental rights could be subject to termination.
Can I clarify, because it sounds like Ms. Potts is never going to agree to my guy having sandwich visits at this point, and that's what the department's recommending. And I want to make sure that if the court's okay with that starting.
I just need to know where he is on the services. I got nothing here, and I've got 2 missed drug tests on 10/2 and 10/10, and then another one back in August. So I'm just kind of sitting here going, I'm sorry, but I got nothing.
I mean, he's never tested positive. He's taken a hair test that was negative. He can take another hair test tomorrow that'll be negative. The alcohol testing, if they want him to do it, he's going to do it. It just hadn't been offered to him when he's gone in. He didn't know. And as far as the therapy, I mean, none of that's his fault. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. And he was the non-offending parent in this case, remember?
What I'm going to order is I'm going to say he can begin his sandwich visits after 2 clean UAs.
Thank you, Judge.
Do they need to be consecutive, Your Honor?
Oh, yeah, obviously consecutive, sorry. And I understand, I mean, I know about the history of this case from reading the stuff. And I mean, this case has been a long time waiting for a removal, years in Comanche, and I don't know if they ever moved up there, but I mean, everybody's at fault in the situation. I mean, it's not, everybody's got a bunch they have to work on. So, okay, so sandwich visits begin. And I mean, when I mean sandwich, I mean like 1 hour sandwich, okay? I don't mean very long. And remain within vicinity of visitation location, and each parent tell caseworker where they're going. Okay. Thank y'all. Y'all excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Mann, we're back at 1:15, right?
Yes, Judge. Are you able to send me the docket notes, please? I'll prepare the order.
It's up, but I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
May we be excused, Judge?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. See y'all later. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Mann, I believe it's a special hearing that you said, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you may begin.
Thank you, Judge. On October 29th, the department filed a motion requesting the court to modify and or clarify its prior order regarding mom's visitation only. And it's specific to the visitation that she's supposed to have in person in Washington in November. The previous order from August 9th of 2024, if the court takes judicial notice of its file, I would ask that the court do that.
Let me look at that docket sheet. August 9th hearing.
Yes, Judge.
It says, mom gets additional in-person visit in October with her boyfriend Pains to supervise.
Correct. And then the parties had an agreement, and those are some additional things that you put in your docket sheet. The signed order states that it is ordered that Emily, Heidi, and Jay Daylor may visit the children in person in Washington State during the week of Thanksgiving, supervised by Kimberly Payne, Jerry Payne, Linda Banks, and or Stephen Banks at a location other than the home of Kimberly Payne and Jerry Payne, and the location must be approved by the department.
Okay.
And so that's really that portion of the order is what I filed a motion for the court to clarify and or modify. Did you say hold on, Judge?
No, I said okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And at this juncture, none of those people are willing to supervise either Miss Emily, Heidi, or Mr. Daylor, and so we don't have anyone. The department is asking that the court either order that mom pay for a service to supervise her visits if she go to Washington, Judge, or that visit at this time be canceled.
Okay.
And I do have Mr. Stephen Banks here and Linda Banks if the court needs to hear from them directly that they're not willing to supervise.
No, I'll take your word for it. Other than I don't know why.
Okay. Would the court like me to call one of them, or would you like me to proffer to the court?
I prefer a proffer if nobody has any objections to that.
Your Honor, we may have a question about who said what to who, when, and whether or not this was firsthand knowledge or secondhand.
I don't know to the proffer just to speed it up, but I think Ms. Potts can, clarify. And I think Ms. Lane also have evidence and stuff to kind of discuss some of that. But the reasoning that they made their choice, I think that's, whatever it's based on, that is the reasoning.
Okay, well, Ms. Vanna, just proffer and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Judge. It was, and this is not the truth of the matter asserted, but it was a child, Mr. Mitchell had allegedly had stated that he had a when he was having a visit with Mr. Thomas Barron, supervised by Miss Linda Banks. When Miss Linda Banks had stepped away for a moment, that he was able to have a call where he could see his mom. And there were some, I guess, allegations made that that mom had stated to the child that that they had guns, or someone had a gun, and that they were going to hurt Mima, who's the current placement. At that time, all the parties and everybody, not all the parties, but the approved supervisors in Washington have declined to supervise visits. Miss Kimberly Payne has agreed and has been doing virtual visit for Mr. Thomas Barron and for the mother and Mr. Dollar, but she will not supervise in-person visits either.
So who allegedly, okay, so Mitchell said that during a meeting with Mr. Barron, Mitchell saw his mom, and the mom said to Mitchell that someone had guns. Is that basically what you said?
That she and Mr. Daler had guns, and that they were going to hurt Mima.
Did Mr. Barron hear this?
I don't know. It's alleged that he's the one that allowed this video call or this call to occur.
Mr. Barron, did you hear this conversation?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Excuse me, go on.
To my knowledge and my recollection and my knowledge of my cell phone, this phone call never took place.
Okay. When you visit with your son, is Miss Heidi do y'all ever talk to her?
Not during my visit, no, ma'am.
I was kind of wondering why you would want to let another parent come in during your time.
That's my time. That's it.
Right.
The only other person that's with me is my fiance, Nicole.
Okay. Miss Vanna, was this allegedly an in-person visit that Mr. Barron had with Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Barron, was there any time during a visit with you that Mitchell got your phone and called his mom?
No, ma'am.
When you visit with Mitchell, are you pretty much there eyeballing him the whole time, hanging out?
Yes. Either myself or Nicole. One of us are always near him.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Vanna, how did we even find out that this allegedly occurred?
We found out from the supervisors of the visit that the child had made that statement.
And who was supervising this visit?
Miss Linda Banks. And it was learned after the fact, Judge.
Mr. Barron, is Miss Banks, do you recall Miss Banks supervising one of your visits?
She had been supervising my visits since after Steve and Linda came back from their trip shortly after the kids got here in Washington.
Okay, so all your visits supervised?
Yes.
Okay. So you're telling me that even though Miss Banks was there, you do not recall this conversation occurring, correct?
Correct. And I
excuse me, I'm sorry.
I did show proof to the banks and also to Miss Lang as well.
What do you mean proof?
I gave them copies of my cell phone record.
And what did that show, that there wasn't a phone call?
The only phone call that took place that day was a phone call to my Aunt Linda about 5-ish minutes prior to our scheduled meeting to find out where she was.
Okay. How have your visits been going with banks supervising?
I've never had an issue. We've always had, they've always been great. Our time was well spent. I mean, we did a handful of different things. Went to the park, the pool. We did a museum one time. It's never been an issue.
Are the other kids there when you visit with Mitchell?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And tell me why your family is not supervising anymore.
because of this apparent reason.
I don't understand.
They after the accusation went out, they stopped doing the visitation because they, I guess, don't feel comfortable. I don't know the reason why they quit, other than telling me that after this accusation came out, that's when they quit.
What did you tell them about this accusation?
That it never happened, and we talked about it that night after it supposedly had happened, to about an hour's worth of conversation. And I showed the same evidence that I gave to Miss Lang, that it never happened, and they took it for the value that my son gave. So
When you said you showed some phone records, did you actually have, like, I can pull up my phone and look at like the calls I made? Was that it, or was it the actual phone records?
I did both.
So you got them from Verizon or whoever your provider is?
AT&T, yes, ma'am.
Okay. When was this, Mr. Barron? Mr. Barron.
September 8th.
Okay. And how your visit's been going since?
I have not had in-person visits since then. I'm in the process right now of trying to get Concerned Citizens, which is a place that I have to pay to have done, and that's something that I have been struggling to do just to my financial reasons. I'm in the process right now, finishing that paperwork up and getting the money saved up to get that process started.
Why have you not had any visits?
Because of the accusation, the pains or the banks are not willing to visit with me.
Supervise.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions of Mr. Barron?
Yes, Judge.
Who does? I heard Miss Lang. Who else? Miss Vanna, you can go. Let's just go in order. Miss Vanna, Potts, Lang, Willis, Bennett. Y'all can go in that order.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Mr. Barron, isn't it true that the phone records provided do not show any video chats or, Facebook Messenger video calling or any other type of video calling that someone can do, or WhatsApp? Isn't that correct?
Yes, but I also gave evidence of my Facebook, of any type of messaging or video chat of that. And that's the only way I do it outside of just regular cell phone.
Okay. And Mr. Barron, you said that there have been no issues with visits in the past. Is that right?
To my recollection, yes, there was never any issues.
Okay. And isn't it true that on one occasion you were actually not supervised by the banks, but by their adult son?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand that during visits you're supposed to be supervised and not take the child alone in your car?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were being supervised by the Banks's adult son, did you in fact take the child in your car and transport him unsupervised?
Yes, but with the understanding, I told my nephew that I'm not allowed to do that, and I repetitively asked him to take him, and he chose not to. And I wasn't about to, and he took off from me. I couldn't, he took off to go receive his car, and I wasn't about to just leave my son sitting there. And I knew that my aunt and uncle were tied up with other things that they were dealing with that weekend. So I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't just going to leave my son in the middle of the street.
So you're saying that it was his decision to do that and not yours?
Correct.
Okay. So in fact, I guess I need to subpoena him to court next time. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
His version. Okay. And at that time, the Bankses wanted to ensure you had your visit. Is that right?
Correct.
Because they had all the other kids. Is that correct?
Yes, if I remember correctly, that was that weekend.
Okay. And there is a court order that you are not to be around the other children. Is that correct?
I think so. I'm not exactly sure if it's actually court ordered or it's just something that has been agreed upon.
And so, okay. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Potts,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Lane.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Thomas, there was another time that your aunt and uncle were concerned about during one of your visits. Your mother showed up at an automobile show, right?
Yes, it was a public showing.
Yeah, so it was their belief that you had coordinated that with her, hey, there's a great chance Grandma come see Mitchell. Did that happen?
What do you mean by like she showed up there?
Or did you invite her to come and see Mitchell at the?
No, I did
automobile
not.
show? Okay. And so it was just happenstance that she happened to be there?
It was a local car show, and she had no knowledge that I was meeting Steve there for my visitation with Mitchell.
Did she see Mitchell and did she talk to him at all during that time?
She had a few-minute conversation with Steve and Mitchell. I was not in the conversation.
So you weren't trying to hide it or anything. I mean, Steve was aware and Grandma shows up at the same place you are in the public. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you haven't had any visits at all, but in fact, CASA and CPS both were up there in October for Miss Emily's visits, correct?
That's to my knowledge.
And it was during that time that all your visits had stopped because your aunt and uncle and the Paynes weren't willing to supervise, correct?
Correct.
And did CASA call and offer to supervise a visit for you while they were up there from Texas?
No, ma'am.
Did Karen from CPS set up a time for you to have even a short visit in person with your child while she was up there?
I had asked, and she said she did not have the time to do so.
Okay. And Judge, I do have, I've submitted previously to the court exhibits 1 through 4, which are those phone records. I've already shared them with the other parties. I'm happy to put them on the screen unless everybody would like to stipulate to them. They're simply records that my client has. They were not obtained through a business record, and everyone's able to look at them and determine if they've been adulterated or not. It's simply what he has as a consumer reflecting his use on his telephone. And so I'm happy to put it up if anyone wants to object to it, or however you want me to do that, Your Honor.
Well, if that's what Mr. Barron gets in the mail, or however he got him, assuming everybody's looked at him, I'm happy for you to put him on the screen.
I can if you have them in your.
Y'all got to remember, we have till 2:15.
Okay, I'll just go through them quickly just to show if I can. Do I have the ability to screen share, Angelica?
Judge, if I might, I think we could short circuit it and just do a proffer. Becky, I don't mean to interfere, but I think everybody's looked at it and everybody knows there were no phone calls, either on Emily's phone logs or the ones that we got online, or Thomas's phone logs. They've all looked at it and nobody has said there was any calls on those days, on that day of that visit. So I think everybody can probably agree there were no calls on that day on the records which were provided.
I would agree, and I don't object to the records.
Thank you. Let's save us some time.
I would agree that they're phone calls only. They do not show any usage of any other type of data or video conferencing.
Fair enough. So may I continue some questions, Judge?
Hold on, Ms. Potts, do you agree?
Yes, Your Honor, I agree. And I assume they also agreed to Ms. Heidi's and Mr. Daylor's records, which were also provided, and there were no calls on that day. And those were exhibits 1 and 2. Yeah.
And I will agree as long as the court does consider the fact that it does not include any data usage or Facebook Messenger or any other type of video conferencing that it's not shown.
Understand. Ms. Willis, you agree?
May I speak, Your Honor? This is Linda Banks.
No, ma'am, you're not a witness right now.
Okay.
Ms. Willis, you need to unmute yourself, and we're like short on time. Okay, exhibits 1, 2, and 3 are admitted.
Okay. All right.
1 is Mr. Barron's, 2 is Ms. Heidi, 3 is Mr. Dollars.
Sorry, Judge. My mouth.
Well, I already answered for you.
I'm just Judge, just to clarify, I believe Susan and I both submitted separately. So mine would be Respondent Father Barron's. Exhibit 1 is hit Nicole Talley's records. Exhibit 2 is Thomas Barron's telephone records. Exhibit 3 is an AT&T record from Thomas Barron. Exhibit 4 is an AT&T record from Nicole Talley. And then Susan would have a separate Respondent Mother's exhibits as well.
Nicole is Mr. Barron's girlfriend.
Yes,
Nicole Talley. Okay, I don't have those exhibits. I don't know when y'all submitted them. Must have been after Thursday.
I emailed them in, but we can make sure you and Angelica have them as well, Judge.
She probably has them, but we don't print after court. And I think 72 hours in advance. So
No
whatever.
problem. As long as the phone records for Jay and Emily are admitted, they're 1 and 2. I'm good.
Judge, those are in yesterday's stack.
Oh, well, okay, they're here.
Okay,
I'm sick. I didn't look at stuff last night, so okay. Keep going, Miss Lane.
Thank you, Judge. Thomas, this incident you shared with Miss Vanna occurred on September 8th, which is now almost 60 days ago, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you received notice from any of your other providers, whether it's like your messenger or any of the virtual resources available through your AT&T or whoever your internet provider, demonstrating that a subpoena has been issued by the state of Texas requesting those records? Have you had any notice of anybody trying to find out more information if they're not satisfied with the phone records? Have you had any notice of that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you said you are getting your virtual visits at this time?
Yes.
And the court ordered back, if we may all recall, I think it was August 9th, that you were supposed to be able to be invited to extracurricular activities of Mitchell's. Have you had any invitations to attend any of Mitchell's school or extracurricular activities?
No, I have not.
Are you aware of any things that he's doing that are, I think his brother and sister get to do like BMX and things of that nature? What is little Mitchell getting to do?
To my knowledge, I don't have anything of any extra things he's doing.
Has Ms. Payne or Mr. Payne mentioned that he's going to be involved in any school activities for Thanksgiving or Christmas?
No.
Okay. So no invitations to engage at all with your son in anything outside of those 2 visits you get per week for 15 minutes. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your desire at this point in time? You want to see your kid more often?
I would love to see my kid more often.
Okay.
In fact, I miss him, and I know Nicole misses him, and Mitchell has said the same thing to us in our virtual visits.
And I know the court, the last time we were all together, you'd shared with the court that you thought you had an apartment in the same complex as your mother and brother, but that's no longer the case. Is that right?
Correct. It fell through.
Because of a financial review based on Nicole's unemployment that put y'all over the income limit to be able to qualify to live there. Is that right?
Correct. My income alone barely is underneath that threshold, and when their leasing management decided to go through everything, they chose to use her unemployment as a viable source of income, and which put us over at that point.
Okay. And so how's your house hunting going right now?
We are struggling, but we've looked at multiple houses, and put applications in, and they have fallen through for various different reasons. So we don't really get to know what the reasons are, but we are continually hunting as we speak.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Willis, you have any questions of Mr. Barron? Nope. Okay, Ms. Bennett, do you?
Just briefly, leave my microphone on. Sorry, Judge.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Barron, Ms. Willis?
I just have one question, Mr. Barron. Would you say that you and my client Gavin Payne have a pretty good relationship?
Me and him don't really talk. It has been for quite a few years. It's just something we just choose not to do so.
Okay, that's all I have, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Bennett.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are you familiar with apps like WhatsApp?
I know of them.
Okay. And you understand that like WhatsApp has end-to-end decryption. So if you did a video chat on that, there's nothing to subpoena.
I don't have that on my phone. I don't do those apps.
Okay. I'm just trying to be totally transparent. I think that's the concern, is that I believe you, there's not a telephone call. It's just, as Ms. Vanna said, there's so many apps, and some of the apps you can subpoena, but like WhatsApp is one of them that there's nothing to subpoena. So
no, I understand, ma'am. And to be frankly honest with you, the only ways of communication I've ever done with Emily has either been phone call, or because both of us have an Android phone, we can use what's called Google
right. Google Duo.
Yeah, or whatever it's called now.
Right.
It used to be Google Meetings, I think is what it used to be. That was the only way of communication that I have with her.
When was the last time you talked to Emily on the phone, or actually did a video chat with Emily?
Video chat. Good Lord.
Yeah, video.
If I remember correctly, I think it's when Mitchell was still in her custody.
Okay, so many months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was uncommon for y'all to video chat.
Yeah, it's very uncommon. But if we do any communication now, it's either via text or phone call.
Okay. All right. I pass the witness.
Anybody else have any questions, Mr. Barron?
Yes, Judge.
Vanna?
Mr. Barron, isn't it true you have access to the school calendar and the different activities of school for Mitchell?
I'm aware of the calendar, but I don't have direct access to it.
So you can't look on the school calendar to look things up?
If it's posted on the school website, then I have access to it. If not, I do not.
Okay.
So anything outside of the school, I don't have any knowledge of what's going on.
And isn't it true that the banks actually gave you a school calendar the first month, so that you would know what was going on?
I don't have a hard copy. All it is, it's digital.
Okay. But they did give you information, isn't that right?
Of that first week or so, or first month or so.
And there's nothing prohibiting you from reaching out to the teachers or the school to get information, isn't that correct?
To my knowledge.
Okay, so really you could participate and get this information if you wanted to, isn't that right?
If it's school related, yes. That's the only thing I have access to.
Okay. Have you attended any of the school related activities or contacted his teacher?
A lot of the school activities are during my work time.
Okay. You also stated that you have not seen Mitchell in person since the last, since September 8th. Isn't that right?
As a normal visit, yes. I did. I had a special visitation, which was allowed for his birthday, which was the end of that month, and that's been the last time.
So you did have so the banks did make an exception and they did supervise and do a birthday visit for Mitchell, and that included you. So you did get to spend some time with him in person, correct?
Yes, at that date.
Okay.
But after the 8th, I did not have any time, and then from the 28th till now, I have not had any.
Okay, but that's not completely true. Didn't you see him when he was trick-or-treating at your work?
That was not with the banks. That was with Kim.
Okay, but you did see him in person is what I'm getting at, correct?
Yes, but not by, I was at work. I don't have that time to be able to sit with him and have a visitation.
So why, can I ask you, why do you think your child would say the things he said?
I really don't know. It boggled me the night that it was supposedly said. I don't, I have been racking my head this entire time trying to figure out why my son would say something like that.
I'll pass the witness.
Anybody else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Barron, where are you living now?
I am still with my mother currently.
Your mother?
Yes,
And does your brother live there?
correct.
Okay.
Judge, just for the record, they're gonna have to move. Nicole's gonna be having a baby and the brother Charles is not allowed to be around children. So Thomas and either Charles is gonna be moving out of that apartment or Thomas and Nicole have to go somewhere by sometime soon. Thomas, what's the due date?
26th of this month.
That's what I thought. So they're under the gun to make this happen.
What is the concerns of Mr. Barron's mother supervising visitation? I don't remember that far back. Because of condoning the other son's behaviors?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Was he convicted of what he did to children in this case or other children?
This case, Your Honor.
Did he get probation to start out with, or did he just get sentenced to whatever the prison system up there is right off the bat?
Your Honor, it's some sort of special program for first-time sex offenders. It's just
wow.
Yes. So I know it's sad to say that, but that's what it is. It's a thing.
He was incarcerated for a period of time, and now he's on a very extended deferral type probation program. But he did go into their equivalent of TDC for a short period of time.
That's correct. And Miss Heidi had to testify, and she wore a wire twice, according to the victim's advocates, in order to put him in prison. And they expressed that they wished it had been longer, but it is what it is.
Okay. And Grandma's still in denial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Who has another witness?
I would like to call Linda Banks.
Okay. Go on, Miss Savannah.
Miss Banks, can you turn your camera on? Thank you, ma'am. And can you unmute yourself as well?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Miss Banks, I guess you heard that I had stated to the court that you and your husband are unwilling to supervise at this time. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And can you explain in your own words why you don't feel comfortable supervising Mr. Barron's visits?
Yes, I can. We were supervising until we heard from Mitchell, and we did speak to Thomas about the phone call. Of course, he could not prove that it didn't happen. There's no phone record, but Mitchell was adamant that it was a video chat. So those records are very hard to come by, and I don't know that that could be traced. When I spoke to Mitchell that evening on the phone because right after the visit, I delivered him to Kim. She was at Costco right there in Squim, so I didn't even have to go to Port Angeles. He was adamant that mom was on a break from work, that she was at work and on a break, and that it had happened. And I said, well, what was I doing then? He said, Aunt Linda, you were right there walking in front of it. We were eating sandwiches, and I was right there. I try to tend to give them a little space, especially at the beginning, because Mitchell, of course, having him every weekend, he wants to include me, and I try to give him some private, or just not private, but time. So I was there, I could see, but I couldn't hear. And I said, well, where was the phone and whose phone was it? And he said it was Daddy's phone. And he was adamant. He answered immediately every question I asked him. He said Mom was on a break from work. I don't know if it was a lunch break or a break, but it's all things that none of us would know. And he was very upset. Please don't tell Daddy. Please don't tell Daddy. So I was convinced. And either way, that and along with the issue of I don't feel that my sister's a car fan, and then she shows up, just happens to show up, and all she does is say hello to Mitchell and leaves. That seemed a little too convenient for me. And my son texted us immediately when Thomas took Mitchell in the car and said, I don't really think this is supposed to happen, but Thomas asked me to let him go in the car with him. So I am highly, that's not what my adult son told me about what happened with the transporting of Mitchell from the Navy Museum on the visit to the McDonald's. Admittedly, it wasn't very far, but he was very concerned about it. He let us know immediately, and he said, I didn't think that was supposed to happen. But so I would recommend you speak to my adult son yourself, but just those three things. And of course, the last being Mitchell being so upset. I mean, he was just devastated. That I just don't feel like it's a good way for me to supervise, just because Mitchell and I are so close, and then having to deal with this. And then I still feel like the truth is not out there, or the whole truth is not out there.
And Ms. Banks, are you willing to supervise Miss Emily Heidi and Jay Daylor in November if they came down for a visit?
I am not, because she also was the other end of that phone call. So and I believe Mitchell. He was 5 at the time, and he just had immediate answers and to things that no one could know unless he was on that phone call. And so I just have to stand firm and that he was really upset by it. And so, no, I am not.
Okay. Is there anything that could be done for you to agree to supervise visits?
I don't know what those things would be. So I don't know. I have a lot of compassion for my nephew. I am concerned about, I heard things today that just really, that I believe that he knows are not the truth. So that upsets me. And I really want to hear the truth. And I just think that that makes it very difficult for me to go ahead and supervise a visit.
I'll pass the witness.
Anybody have any questions, Ms. Banks?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Ms. Potts?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Banks, thank you for being here today, and thank you so much for all you've done for the kids. We really do appreciate that, and I know my client appreciates it too. I have just a couple of questions for you, okay?
Sure.
So after, as I understand it, you were walking just a couple of steps in front of Mitchell when he said this phone call or video call occurred. Is that correct? Trying to give him a little space?
They were sitting on a picnic blanket is my, I know that's when he said, if it's when Mitchell stated it happened, it would be, hold on, I'm going to step outside. I'm at work. I apologize. It would have been when Mitchell was on the picnic with them eating sandwiches, and I was walking right on the edge of that pavement on the field. They were on the fieldish type area just to the side of that, and I was walking. There's a paved path back and forth.
So how far away were you?
Oh, golly. It depends. At times when I was walking the edge, and maybe the furthest I ever got away was
10 feet, 20 feet. I don't know.
20 feet or more, because it's maybe the width of the field, not the length, but the width of the field.
Okay. So I have another question for you. So when you took Mitchell back to Kim, did he say anything to you in the car about this phone call?
He did not. And like I said, I didn't take him all the way to Port Angeles like I would normally do. She was shopping at Costco, so she was right there in Sequim.
Okay.
So no, he did not say anything to me in the car.
So Miss Payne picked him up, and then sometime that evening, Miss Payne called you. Is that correct?
Yes. and explained to me that while they were in the car driving back, she was with Raymond as well as herself, that that he made those statements. And then so of course I talked to Thomas, and then I spoke with Mitchell on the phone as well.
Okay, was Ms. Payne present when you were speaking with Mitchell on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. No
Because
further.
it's her phone. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Lane?
Hi, Linda, it's Becky. Can you unmute?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
So just a couple of details about that, supervising that visit. So they were sitting and eating sandwiches, and from where you were, you could see them, correct?
Correct. I could see them.
Okay. So did you see them on the telephone?
I did not. If they had the phone on the blanket, I wouldn't have seen it because it's uneven, it's grassy. It's a skinny phone. I would not have seen the phone, no.
Did you see Mitchell staring down at the blanket, looking at something for a period of time? Did you observe anything that showed you that he was having a conversation on a phone?
I guess I wasn't really looking for that, to tell you the truth. So no, I didn't think anything was out of the ordinary until after the call, when he was pretty quiet. And I mean, not after the call, but after the visit, when he got in my truck. Yeah, he was pretty quiet.
So
that's it.
how long does it take to get from the park to the Costco?
Oh my gosh.
Roughly.
It's probably 2 miles.
Oh,
it's not very far.
So
Swim's pretty small. There's stoplights and the speed limit's only like 25, but
just getting an idea. Roughly what time did you drop him off? Roughly.
oh my gosh.
Just
We usually do visits to four to, I think those were well, it was summer, so it was a 4-hour visit. I usually drop him off anywhere between 5 or 6.
Okay.
I think. I don't remember, probably 6.
No problem. And roughly what time did Kim call you to report this incident?
I could find out, but
Roughly.
I'm trying to think if I was home yet or not, because it takes me a while to drive home. So I think it was on the drive home. So she probably got back to her house, which probably takes 30 minutes. I'm guessing about an hour later.
Okay.
I don't know.
Very good. All right.
It's just a guess.
No problem. I have one other question for you. So when Emily came down in October to visit, did you remember meeting the CASA volunteer, Miss Kim Singleton? And
yes, I do.
And you dropped the kiddos off for a visit with Emily, right? Is that how that worked? Or were you happened to be there, right? And during that
I dropped the kids off.
And during that visit, do you remember having like FaceTime or some kind of video chat going on with Kim Payne during the time you're there with the CASA supervisor is there, but you're there and you were on a video, some kind of connection with Kim Payne. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was very concerned with Raymond. He was throwing a fit over his shoes and he threw a sucker down the lane and he was kicking at people and no one could convince him to get his shoes on.
Let me finish asking some questions. So was that at the beginning? Did you stay the whole visit? You stayed there the whole time?
Oh, no. No. Just came and went. It was I believe at the very end when I picked up all 3 children. So I had been delivering each child individually back and forth. And then at the very end, all 3 were together and we were picking up it was the very end of the visit.
Okay. And the CASA supervisor was there and you showed up to pick him up and Raymond was acting ornery. Is that right?
Yes.
And what did the CASA supervisor tell you about that?
I don't recall her telling me anything. Okay. I tried to stay back and I just was there to pick the kids up. But I was concerned about him just coming unglued. Yes.
So you thought it was important to get Kim Payne on the video and just show her just what was going on right then.
I was hoping she could calm him down. She's usually really good at that. No, I just wanted her to try to maybe talk to him. He calms down a lot when she speaks to him. So
You don't remember Kim Singleton asking you to go ahead and just put your phone away because that's really not necessary given the nature of that type of visit? You don't remember that?
Nope.
Okay. I
But
pass the witness.
like I said, it was upsetting. So I don't know. Maybe she did.
Pass the witness.
Anybody else have
Don't
any
remember.
questions of Ms. Banks? No. So Ms. Banks, let me ask a question. So you picked Mitchell up from this visit and he's quiet on the way back, but he didn't mention anything about guns or anything to you on the way home. I mean, the way to the drop off, right?
No, he did not. Nope.
You didn't hear about it until Miss Kim called and told you, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, I have kind of a group question, but I don't think it goes to you. So, okay, we'll come back to that. Okay.
I have a follow-up question, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Vanna.
Ms. Banks, I mean, in your opinion, do you believe that Mitchell was coached to say those things?
Your Honor, it calls for
I
speculation.
don't believe it.
I think she can answer that question.
Can you unmute yourself, Ms. Banks?
I don't believe that he was coached. He was too adamant. His answers were immediate. And at 5 years old, I just don't think, and he knew things that we didn't know. Like she was at work. He knew that her work, that he said that she had been working and she took a break to talk to him. And these are all things that were vetted out afterwards, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but, and he was upset. Please don't tell daddy. And those things, that would be very hard for him to know all the details. He knew exactly when the video call, it was right there. We were eating the sandwiches and the phone, and whose phone was it? He knew whose phone it was. He was just questions that if you were asking him to give details and he was fibbing at 5 years old, which he was at the time, I just don't see it happening. That's just my personal opinion.
I'll pass the witness.
Anybody else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Next witness, whoever has the next witness.
No more witnesses, Judge.
I have a question for lawyers, CASA, everybody. If this happened September 8th, Miss Heidi had a visit in October. Why am I just now hearing about this?
Judge, Miss Heidi had a visit in October. This happened after she had purchased airplane tickets and had made all those arrangements. And that's why at that time the banks had pulled out. And it was CASA and Karen who supervised. She had already paid for all of that stuff.
Well, if it was that important, why were y'all even, I mean, why is it okay for CASA that don't live up there, CASA and CPS that don't live up there to be able to supervise, but not local people?
Well,
I mean, they're not familiar with anything up there, but y'all are concerned about them being exposed to guns, but not the local people. I don't understand that.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a suggestion, and I know this is going to seem very unorthodox, but my client has hold on. Before it just came off. He has completed everything that was in that prior Washington order, and he was, other than that, if you want to consider that not an offending parent, he is a non-offending parent, and he is willing to supervise all of these visits. He feels that he can get along with Thomas and supervise for him and supervise for Emily as well. And that would answer all the questions and solve all the problems before the court.
Well, the only problem with that, Ms. Willis, is I believe in August or September, from the documents I saw from some child support court and up there, that Mr. Payne went and said that the children were living with him during the end of the summer, the beginning of September. And either he's lying to some court up there or somebody's lying to us about where the kids are living, because they're not living with them. They're just placed up there. The department is their conservator. So I just have questions about everything all the way around. So I I assume he's still having supervised visitation. So I don't really know how to go from, I don't know.
But Your Honor, if I might.
Hold on, no, Miss Willis is talking. Miss Willis, go.
Yes, he is, and that was another thing I was going to bring up today. The reason he had supervised visits was because of that old Washington order, and he was ordered by this court to complete all those programs, which he has done.
Miss Go, so do you have proof that Mr. Payne has completed all those things that were ordered in Washington?
Your Honor, I don't have the Washington paperwork in front of me, but he has completed 2 of the packets I've sent to him.
No, I don't care about your stuff. I care about the Washington stuff. Well, I care about the stuff here, but I'm asking about all the Washington orders.
Your Honor, I can't answer that. I will refer to Agata, and she can.
No, do you have it or do you not have it, Ms. Galloso?
I do not have it, Your Honor.
Okay. You're the caseworker. You're the one that's supposed to have all the records, not the lawyer. I mean, you give them to your lawyer, but you're the one that's the receptacle for all this stuff. Okay. So, Ms. Willis, where's all that paperwork showing he did all that stuff?
Well, he told me that he sent it to Karen. He also sent some of it to me. And I've got a lot of documentation to sort through here, but I will get it together.
Okay.
Your Honor.
For Washington State was the protective parenting, and that is, and he completed that.
Probably needed to do that for this.
Going to go through. I'm sorry.
You need to do that for this case too. So, okay, we'll get that to Ms. Galloso, Ms. Willis. Ms. Potts, were you going to say something?
Yes, Your Honor. I think I was going to say, yeah, it's going to take us a lot of time to go through all that and figure out what he has and has not done. But also recall that Mr. Payne, there was domestic violence between Mr. Payne and Miss Heidi, and it is an extremely traumatizing thing to have him around or to be around him. So I just don't see that that would be a positive type of supervision.
Oh, I don't think Miss Willis was even thinking about supervising Miss Heidi. I think she was talking more. Maybe she said that, but I didn't even think that. I was more thinking she was thinking about supervising Mr. Barron.
Okay.
Well, both.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not gonna go. We're not gonna do with that with Miss Heidi. Yes. What else, Miss Potts?
I'd like to call David as a witness when I get an opportunity, but if you have some other stuff to do first, that's fine.
Miss Lane, what do you want to say?
Your Honor, I think that I'd really like to urge for unsupervised visits for my client. He's actually almost finished, I should be, with the CPRT training at the Phoenix Center. He has been engaged with his individual therapist. And in fact, there was a recommendation for him to quit. And I said, nope, stay with it. He works, he drugs tests at work. He's got a peace officer's license to be able to be a bailiff. I say, let's let him have some short, whatever, start the progress for unsupervised. He's never hurt this child. And
okay, hold on. I mean, I already have some of these things written down that y'all are talking about. The whole reason Mr. Barron has supervised visits is because he lives with a sex offender. Is that right?
I think they were just doing a step up, Judge. When we started off this program, everybody was treated equally. We were supposed to engage in our service plan. The only thing on our service plan we haven't done is get a house away from Charles. And so that's a conundrum that, Thompson's got to figure that out, but it doesn't mean he can't visit his son at a place far remote, close to even where the placement is or something of that nature. But there's no reason he has never, there's not anything before the court today with this matter that involves anything regarding him abusing or neglecting his son.
And
okay,
so I think that was not the only reason for supervised visits, because there were at the adversary or a prior hearing we did discuss there was a prior CPS case in Texas in 2018 because of on Mr. Barron and Miss Heidi for physical abuse of Savannah and things like that. So that was another concern of the department.
Yeah, the state's never brought forward any witnesses or evidence of the resolution of that matter. It's our understanding David Fowler's actually talked to one of the investigators from that. We're happy to hear from him at some point. But there's no evidence to support anything that validates that allegation of that case that was opened.
So going back to Mr. Payne, the reason he has supervised visitation is because he didn't finish that stuff in the prior order, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so what are his visits right now? What is he doing visitation wise?
He has 6 hours.
That judge, can his supervise be lifted?
Miss Wills, that's what I'm asking questions. Miss, what does he have?
He's got 6 hours a week, Judge. He goes on the weekends and he goes to extracurricular activities.
Unsupervised or supervised?
Supervised.
Supervised.
As far as
although he says the kids live with him.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the documentation or what he filled out, Judge. So we will definitely ask for some additional documentation to figure all that out.
I think that was all sent around on an email, wasn't it?
I haven't seen it.
Yes, I have sent it out to all parties, including Miss Willis, on an email. What I don't have is the application itself because that is considered confidential, but the documents did indicate that he said that the children did reside with him. I think also the court had ordered a hair strand for him, and for some reason I think he was unable to do that. I don't know if he's done that yet or not. And the court had ordered
that, and that was circulated to all parties. It was only positive for his prescription medications.
So
did he provide did he provide the prescriptions to Ms. Gayoso, because that was also a part of the
Yes,
court?
he did.
Okay, thank you.
So you sent that email October 31st, and it included an attachment from Julie Ryan, the support enforcement officer from Transforming Lives or whatever, Washington State Department of Social Health and Services, showing that Mr. Payne had those cases. So you sent that out, Susan, October 31st.
Okay. Right. And then, I mean, that would require the one thing, Your Honor, that Ms. Ryan requested, the child support was modified. She was required to pay $189 in child support, plus it was support plus medical. I've been able to get that temporarily on hold. And what they did was suspend the service of that so that it wouldn't go to enforcement, but there's still the underlying order, so to speak, or whatever they call it up there against Ms. Heidi. And so we need an affidavit or sworn testimony stating that the children do not live with Mr. Payne, that they do live with the grandparents. And I can't get this undone without that order, which was what was indicated in the letter from the enforcement folks.
And there's a therapy note, Judge, that one of the kids told the therapist that somebody gets to spend the night at Daddy's house, but she's sad that she doesn't, Savannah. And that shows up in the therapy report. I'm sure Karen's read all of them, and Natalie has as well. We got an extensive amount of therapy notes provided, so we're not confident that the Paynes are following the visitation plan as it's set up.
The grandmother.
Well, you know what, it doesn't really, I mean, okay, fine, but the kids do not live with Mr. Payne. If they do, somebody's violating a whole lot of court orders, or a lot of people are violating a whole lot of court orders. Okay,
So
y'all got 4 more minutes.
May I please call Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I'll let y'all go a little bit longer because my meeting's at 2:30. So
I'll try to
go.
Okay, I'll try to go as fast as I can. Mr. Fowler, I just have a couple of questions for you. You can answer this just yes or no. Don't give an opinion, but do you have an opinion as to whether Jay and Emily told Mitchell that they would come to Washington and shoot their grandparents or whatever that was? Do you have an opinion about whether or not that was said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is your opinion based on?
My opinion is based on what I believe is possible, or honestly, just coaching from the paternal grandmother.
Which grandmother, Mr.?
The paternal step grandmother, I'm sorry, Kim Payne. from watching the virtual visits, the background conversations, then when she came on the virtual visit with Emily and confronted her, some of the
I'm
things
sorry,
she
wait,
said.
okay, let's be more specific. When Miss Payne confronted Emily at a visit?
Yes, a virtual visit when she came on and confronted Emily on a virtual visit.
What did she say to Emily?
Well, she off camera, you can hear, should I? Yes. And then she comes on while Savannah's in the bathroom right behind her. And she's like, how do I look, Emily? Do I look old and wrinkly? And then really confronted her about that. And then Emily said, in the conversation, I would never say that. She's like, thanks, Kim, for having the kids placed there, and like that she appreciates that. And then she steps away from the phone or the video when Jay says, well, thank God David viewed this or saw this. And then she continued to say stuff off camera.
So, okay, so I think what you're saying is that, if I understand you correctly, and I'm going to try to short circuit this a little bit, but you're saying that Kim made an allegation about something that Emily said, and she made that allegation during the visit within earshot of Savannah. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that allegation was made about Emily saying that during a supervised visit that Miss Gayoso and Miss Kim Singleton had supervised. So Kim was saying that those comments were made during the supervised visit. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Did Miss Gayoso or Miss Singleton indicate to you that those comments were made when they returned from the visit?
No, negative.
Is anyone supervising the visits other than you for the children? The Zoom visits with Emily, Heidi?
It's just me, and then Kim Payne's there, or Gerald Payne.
Okay, so Kim or Jerry are always in the room at the same time the visits are occurring. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does that make it difficult?
Also Vicky sometimes.
Okay. Does that make it difficult for Emily and Jay to interact with the children?
Yes.
As I recall, there was an instance where Kim Payne turned off the microphone, in fact. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you saw that?
Yes.
And in fact, Savannah told Emily at the next visit when Kim was not present, but Jay was, that she didn't turn off the microphone, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so I wanted to ask you a couple of other things. I know you had some concerns about school.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know you had concerns about things that the grandmother had said in the therapy notes. Are you concerned that the Children's Bill of Rights is being violated by the comments made in the therapy notes by grandmother in front of the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We could get into that in detail later. I know we don't have much time. I'm just wanting to kind of point some of those out. Do you have any concerns about the children staying up there where they are?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those concerns? Just briefly, just bullet points for the court.
Okay. School, therapy, a proper psychological assessment for the kids, ARD or IEP, their education, and then continued, as was said in the therapy notes, they talk openly about the trauma and stuff that goes on. That was from Kim Payne to the therapist in front of
In fact, in therapy, as I recall, Kim Payne told the therapist that she had told Raymond that he was coming back for a monitored return on December 3rd, and that it made Raymond so upset he was throwing up. And Kimberly told that to the therapist.
Miss Van, what'd you say?
I'm going to object as to hearsay, as to what the therapists are saying, or those therapy notes at this time.
Okay. Judge, it's what everybody has the therapy notes. We can do that later.
Okay.
As I understand it, David, there has been, you called the principal of the school and there's been no IEP done for the children despite the court order to get that done. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I also understand that you spoke to the principal and he asked you not to talk to the teachers or the therapist unless you go through him. Is that correct?
That was a she, Miss Julie Bryant. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And I also understand that when you obtained the records, for example, for Mitchell, that there were a number of absences and tardies in those records. Is that correct?
Yes, it was actually for all the kids that I screenshotted on 10/18, 10/31, and then 11/4.
Okay. So there were 2, 3, 4 absences, tardies for each child. Is that correct?
They changed.
Approximately.
The tardies all pretty much went away. They were taken off.
No, wait. No, I'm just asking you on the original records that you looked at, there were a number of tardies and absences, correct?
That is correct.
And so you called Miss Payne to ask about those. Is that correct?
No, I didn't call Miss Payne. It was a text message. It was a group text.
Okay, text message. And then when you called the school and you went back to get the records had been changed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you asked the principal about that?
Yes.
Okay. So during the visits, are you able to have a confidential visit with the children without Miss Payne being in the room or in the next room listening?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And the children would know, even if she was in the next room, that she was listening, correct? Because you can hear through those walls?
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned a new psychological for Raymond and Mitchell, and I'll try to short circuit it again. But it's my understanding that the description of the children's behavior was mixed up in the original between Raymond and Mitchell. They were kind of swapped and they were mixed up in the original 2 psychologicals. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
And so you would like to get a new psychological for, in particular for Raymond, who seems to be having the most issues, but for both children. So one is not wrongfully labeled or one of them doesn't get the help that they need. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And we seem to be having trouble getting that done up there, or it's just not happening. I don't know which, or nobody's asked. I don't know. It is also my understanding that from reading the therapy notes that Mrs. Payne goes to therapy, for example, with Mitchell. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that Mrs. Payne is the only one with input to the therapist. As best we can tell from the notes, there's been no input from the department. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that a concern?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any concerns? I know. Do you
Judge,
have any
I'm going
concerns?
to object to the line of questioning at this point. I don't think that this has anything to do with mother's visit for November, which is what we're here for today.
Okay, yeah, and y'all got 5 more minutes.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next.
I'll sustain the objection.
That's
I want
fine.
to know real quick, when is Miss Heidi supposed to go to Washington?
Judge, we had it planned, I believe, for the week before Thanksgiving, but it's kind of days. Miss Heidi, can you tell us the days?
Days have changed. I can't go the week of Thanksgiving. I cannot get those guaranteed days off because of my position at my job. I was going to go the week before, but I haven't paid for the tickets because I didn't know if it was going to happen. I can go the week after Thanksgiving if that works for everybody. I was gonna try and leave on a Friday and come back on like a Thursday. Depending on how many days the court allows me to have, I will figure it out.
You're going to go on a Friday and come back on a Thursday?
As in flights.
Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well, how are you planning on doing a visit if the kids will be in school all the time, except for the week of Thanksgiving? I assume that they're off Thanksgiving week like our kids are.
They are not off the whole week of Thanksgiving, Your Honor.
Okay. So what were you planning on doing when the kids were in school?
I was probably gonna go look around, sightseeing.
Okay.
That's what I did last time. I sightseed. Saw some friends I haven't seen in a while.
Okay.
I can't go. I don't think I'm allowed to go to school and see if they have any extracurricular activities. I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, y'all got 3 more minutes. Who wants to say something?
Judge, I just have one last question for David.
Okay.
And it's on a different line. David, do you have any concerns about Jay or Emily having unsupervised visits in Washington?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me what that is?
Well, after some of the things that have occurred during the visits, like the last visit that was up there, where supposedly, allegedly, Emily called Raymond stupid. I'm worried that if they're just left alone, that when the kids come back, that they could be told to say other things about what the parents have probably said to them.
Okay, let me clarify for a second. You're saying you're concerned that Kim Payne is going to have the kids say things that the parents said that they didn't say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Are there any concerns about Emily and Jay having unsupervised visits other than a concern that stories may become made up by Ms. Payne?
No other concerns.
No concerns with Emily and Jay?
No concerns.
Thank you. That's all, Judge.
We got 2 minutes. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Fowler?
I do, Judge. I have a lot of questions for Mr. Fowler, but we don't have time to go into that at this time. I have Mr. Stephen Banks' son here who's
I have a question for David, Judge. I have questions for David.
Miss Van's talking, Miss Lane.
I'm
Go on,
sorry,
Miss
I
Van.
was about to call another witness.
No, I'm just letting the court know if the judge wants to hear from Mr. Banks' son and Miss Linda's son, who is here supervising that visit, about what occurred with Mr. Thomas Barron. He is here to address the court.
I have one question
Well,
for Mr. Fowler.
I have a meeting at 2:30 that I told y'all when this thing was planned. I didn't know how y'all could get this done in an hour. These people can't sneeze in an hour in this case. So I don't know how y'all think, how much, I don't know when we're going to have another hearing on this case. Finish this up.
Okay, I have no further questions, Judge. I don't think there's any other testimony needed for my motion as to the visit in November.
I have one question for Mr. Fowler.
Okay, go, Miss Willis.
Mr. Fowler, in looking at the school attendance records, did you compare them with the schedule of the children's therapy to ascertain whether or not those tardies were from the children going to therapy?
Yes.
Okay. And it's your opinion that they were not going to therapy on the days they were tardy?
No, so on, say, 11/31.
No, we don't have time to go through them.
Okay.
Were they in
changed.
therapy or not in therapy on the times they were tardy?
Mitchell was in therapy, while the other two is questionable.
Well, and you know what? I hope nobody ever looked back at my kid's tardiness. So, whatever. Miss Lane?
Yes, Your Honor, real quickly, David. So Mitchell has missed some school, specifically the full day of October 29 and 31 you reported to us. Did Miss Payne put that in that group text? Because evidently y'all have a lot of communication going back. Does she let you guys know when the kids miss school?
No, she doesn't. It's that group text was I just asked, how Mitchell was doing.
But I'm saying in general, do you get notice if the child who's a custodian, the state of Texas is its parent, if you guys get notice when they miss school?
Negative.
Okay, and what about this WISE program? Did you ever, she enrolled the children in a thing called a WISE program, right?
It was Raymond.
I'm going to object as to this line of questioning, Judge. It has nothing to do with mother's visit and what we're here for today.
Sustain.
Judge, they have put Raymond in some kind of mental health program, and I have asked about it, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know why they're doing it, and I got nothing on it other than Miss Payne accidentally texting me. So if they've got him in some kind of program, my mom needs to know, and she needs to know why.
Last I checked, departments for temporary managing conservator, and they're the only ones that have the authority to do that.
I don't know if they've done it or not. I got no answers.
Miss Bennett, real quick, what do you think about all this? Real quick.
Okay. I think Emily should be allowed to have a Thanksgiving visit. I don't know if maybe Jay's mom is open to going up there with them. I wouldn't have any issue with her supervising, since all the supervisors up there won't supervise. I mean, I don't know. I know everybody has work and juggling lots of stuff. My information that I'm getting today in testimony is a little different than the initial information that I got about the outcry that was made after that visit. And so I'm actually less concerned about it than I was initially, because it wasn't made to Ms. Banks after the visit, like I think I was told, or what I had in my head. I know my visits with the kids now that they're up there, the grandmother, she did leave the room, but I mean, you know, you can tell that she's right there because sometimes she'll come in and out. But the kids it's like a 180 from what they were saying before, night and day different, and they don't really say certain things. I mean, I don't feel that we're getting honest, open answers or conversation anymore like we did initially before they went to Washington. Okay. I would like somehow for both the dads to be able to get visits. I do have some concerns about unsupervised. I'm a little worried about Mr. Payne if he did go to court and misrepresent that the kids lived with him. I'm curious about if Mr. Barron is even on the lease. I didn't realize it was a rent controlled place. So are they even there legally in grandma's apartment? I don't know. But I just wish we could like get some of this stuff worked out so we could get to unsupervised, because I feel like we could get there really fast if we could just get this information distributed. And there's so much information in this case, we're drowning too, but there's some pertinent information that I think would really help. Like if everyone could get, you know, all of the stuff to prove that all the stuff in Washington, that those things were met.
Okay, I have to go.
You know, stuff like that.
Okay. I have to go. I have another hearing at 4:15. I have a meeting at 2:30, and I'll send an email with my ruling later. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye.